Good evening and welcome inside the Sullivan Center on the campus of the University of St. Francis for the start of tonight's CCAC volleyball matchup. The Fighting Saints tonight take on the red-hot Judson Eagles in a big conference battle. I'm Terry Bonadonna here with you for the next couple of hours as the Saints try to make this their 9th win in their last 11 matches. They come in overall with a record of 11-9. They're 6-2 in conference. Judson 3-4 in the CCAC, but a stout 15-7 overall. They had a 7-game winning streak snapped their last time out. Both of these teams, in fact, hot overall, but coming in after a loss. For the Saints, it was a tough 5-set defeat at Indiana Northwest this past Tuesday. And that was their first match in a full week, so they're finally getting back in the swing of things by going for the second time this week. Alexis Engst is back to serve for St. Francis, and they'll get their first serve of the game going from the right side of your screen here in the first set. They're in white to side from the junior libero Katie Zakis in gold. Here's Judson on the return, out of bounds. Nope, goes tipped at the line, tipped at the net for St. Francis, and a point to Judson as they take the 1-0 lead. Judson standing on the left side of the screen, nearly picking up an ace there. Brooklyn Withy made a nice save, and Zakis gets it over. There's a block by St. Francis, but kept alive by Judson. The Eagles in navy blue tonight. Double hit by Lauren Stefanski. The Eagles take a 2-0 lead. Their sophomore libero is Enola Varga. She's in white, the inverse of the rest of the squad. Here's the serve from Varga. It grazes the net and drops in for a point. Serve rather from Taylor Conchel. Conchel makes it 3-0 on the ace for Taylor Conchel. That's the 26th service ace this year, second most on the team. There's a mistake by St. Francis on the receiving end of that serve and easily dropped down for another Judson point. A listless start today for the Fighting Saints. And Judson has taken advantage of that. They've seized the early momentum and the early lead, 4-0. Trying to pick up their first point of the night right now. Katie Zakis gets it over. Tipped across the net, saved at the net by Jade Livesey-Rourke. Brooklyn Withy gets it over. Dropped down by Mackenzie Ebert. Nice dig by Zakis, who bumps it across. And we've got a good volley going. Push to the back line and down inbound for Stephanie Puchek. 5-0 Judson. Well, I guess you've already met most of them, but the starters for today's match for Judson: Natalie Kofi, Taylor Conchel, Katie Valeria, Mackenzie Ebert, Stephanie Puchek, and Zoe Eitel, along with the libero Enola Varga. Lauren Stefanski trying to pick up the first point for the Saints, but it's returned out of bounds, and the Saints do get the first point. It's a 5-1 deficit, trying to stay alive. The Fighting Saints have Taylor Valent, Brooklyn Withy, Alexis Engst, Jade Livesey-Rourke, Stephanie Woods, and Lauren Stefanski with the libero Katie Zakis. Serve is off from Brooklyn Withy. There's a tip at the net by the Fighting Saints, kept alive by Natalie Kofi. And a solid attack there by Mackenzie Ebert, blocked by the Saints but out of bounds, so Ebert will get credit for the point. That makes it 6-1 Judson. A dominant start for an Eagles team. Comes in with a losing conference record, but not for anything they've done recently. 7 wins in their last 8 matches. There's a big-time hit from Lauren Stefanski, but Judson returns it very impressively. Nice work by the Eagles defense. Saints get it back over. There's a hard hit out of bounds. It was not tipped at the net. Katie Valeria knocked it a little bit too hard. Point to the Saints to make it a 6-2 game. McKenna Bartecki, the junior from Lockport, Illinois, comes in to do the serving here. Bartecki has been the best server this season for St. Francis, but it doesn't show there. She commits her 19th service error of the season. The designated server checks out along with Stefanski. Saints trail 7-2. Stephanie Lane, senior setter from Murfreesboro, Illinois, is the server for Judson. She and her team enjoy a 5-point lead here in the first set. Nice set by Engst, good hit by Woods, but a good dig by the libero Control, or rather Varga. And it drops in bounds, a point for Judson. 8-2. Judson using the lines to their favor here. That one just getting inside. And Lane will go back to serve again. Low line drive serve, returned on the back line by Withy. Jade Livesey-Gork looks for the kill, but a good dig and a good kill for Judson. All set up right now by the Judson defense. Kara Courier wants a timeout. Saints have had some solid attacks so far in today's game, and that's been their strength this year. They're right up there with a 193 hitting percentage. Very impressive number for the Saints as a team. Lauren Stefanski leads the way at 391, and that leads the CCAC. But right now, it is Judson doing the most significant damage. And that's because they've been able to receive those St. Francis attacks so well. Setting up their own big hits, and their percentage pretty good themselves, 182. Their hitting percentage this year. And Judson has scarcely made a mistake in the early going in this first set. 9-2. Eagles lead, but we're early. They're sitting right where they want to sit. St. Francis not so much, but early not only in the match, but even in this first set. Plenty of time for St. Francis to recover and try to take a 1-0 lead. Judson ready to serve coming out of the timeout. Belongs to Stephanie Lane, who's picked up the last couple of points from this position. There's a buzzer and the whistle blows. They're going to redo it. The buzzer went because the two teams had returned to the court prior to the official end of the timeout, but with both teams ready to go, they resumed play rather than wait for that timeout to expire. The clock never reset. Now it's back to 1:15, so we're ready to go. Jade Livesey-Gork to the back line. She went out of bounds. Livesey-Gork went around that antenna, did not get it inbounds on the attack, so the point goes to Judson. And the score is 10-2, and that clock mishap, I don't know if it had any real effect, but if anything, it may have hurt St. Francis a little bit. Zakis makes a diving effort, and they do keep it alive off the serve. Nearly another ace. Doesn't matter. An attacking error committed by Jade Livesey-Gork gives the point to Judson anyway. They're up 11-2. Sometimes you get a little boost coming out of a timeout. They're able to halt the other team's momentum into the net, but it's kept alive by Withy. Here's Woods, blocked, but on the wrong side for Judson. They're not able to get it across on the block. Point to St. Francis. Stephanie Woods picks it up for the Fighting Saints. I was about to say, for any momentum the Saints may have stolen away from Judson on the timeout, Judson was able to regain their composure after the stoppage, and they got the next point. Next couple, in fact. Saints are back on the board. Down by 8. Pushed over by Hannah Pacheco. And the attack on the other end, it's Brianna Burns blocked at the net. Back on Judson's side. Bumped over by Varga. Free ball. There's Taylor Valent pushing it over and down. A two-handed kill for Taylor Valent. Valent ranks second on the team with a .231 hitting percentage. She actually leads the squad with 185 kills coming into play tonight. Serve goes off from Hannah Pacheco. Hit to the back line and too strong out of bounds. St. Francis gets the point. They are within 6 now, 11-5. As tight as it's been since 8-2, so they're getting back on a roll. Hit high up into the air by Withy, and nobody's going to be able to get to that ball. So that's a kill from Mackenzie Ebert. Ebert, a junior from Wisconsin. She's been the best attacker for Judson this year. 255 kills. Lead the way. Ebert has the serve. Hit high into the air by Withy. Taylor Valent looking for the cut shot, and she kills it just in front of a diving Stephanie Lane. Another point for Taylor Valent, and another point for the Fighting Saints. Our score is 12-6. So the Saints hanging around. Judson took a big early lead. They've been up by as many as 9 points, but the Saints are not going away. Keeping it relatively close and trying to make a run here near the midpoint of this first set. Big shot from Conchel, and it hit the line. Good swing by Taylor Conchel there. Conchil's able to pick up the point for Judson and extend the lead to 13-6. They're just 12 away now from a first set victory and a 1-0 lead in this best-of-5 match. There's the serve from Katie Valerio. Pacheco sets up Withy, pushes it towards the corner, played by Lane. Conchel gets it over and across to Zekas. Nice push right there by Hannah Pacheco, and a point to the Fighting Saints. Pacheco completely caught Judson off guard there. She set up for the pass and instead pushed it over for the kill. 15th kill of the season for Hannah Pacheco. Conchel gets it the more traditional way for Judson, spiking that ball between Gabby Paelmo and Katie Zekas. 14-7, Judson is doubling up St. Francis here in the first set. And Natalie Kofi goes back for the serve. Kofi, flat-footed serve from the right side of the court. Lauren Stefanski taps it over. There's the return, it's blocked, pushed back across. Saints have one more hit, and Paelmo's able to get it over. Zoe Eitel across to Paelmo, nice play. Pushed over by Kendra Bullard. Blocked by Brooklyn Withy, and a point to the Fighting Saints. Good block by Withy. Brooklyn Withy came in with 24 blocks on the season, 4th most on the team. Again, the Saints are within 6. They were down 8-2 at one point. Since then, they've kept the deficit right around 6, but haven't gotten it down to 5. Conchel blocked, kept alive, spiked down again by Livesey Gork, but a good dig by Judson. Here's Livesey Gork again to the back line and Ebert. Here's Eitel, diving play made by Paelmo, and a double hit called against St. Francis. Really good run there between Judson and St. Francis. Good plays made by both sides. Looked like the Fighting Saints had that point on at least one occasion during that run, but ultimately it goes to Judson on the infraction against the Fighting Saints. There's Paelmo on the back line. Set up for Livesey Gork, tipped at the net. Here's Eberts, out of bounds. Not touched by St. Francis, so USF once again within 6. Can they cut that deficit to 5? Haven't been able to do it yet. Well, we're starting to get late, nearing a point where they need to make that run to get themselves back into it. Ebert right into the net. Ebert got caught up in a little traffic jam. She kind of had to push her way through a couple of teammates. I know LaVarga was standing in front of her, and Ebert worked her way to the front and just didn't have enough momentum in front of her for that swing. Sent it right into the net, and the Saints are indeed within 5, make it 4 as Judson goes out of bounds. Julia Fahey stands up along the sideline, talking things over with Ebert. Judson maybe nearing a point where they may have to call a timeout to stifle this St. Francis run. They're down by just 4. They trailed by as many as 9 in this first set. Jay Livesey Gork makes it a 3-point game, and there indeed is that timeout called by Julia Fahey, the second season head woman for the Judson volleyball team. 15-12. We've got a game here. Didn't look like it for a while. St. Francis trailed 11-2 right out of the gate. They have fought back since that time. They've outscored Judson 10-4. And they're on a good run right now, having scored the last 4 points of this game. And they're down by just 3. And they've got the momentum. And again, one of the big reasons you usually see these timeouts called to put a stop to the momentum. And at least in my experience, it seems to work at a pretty good rate. But we'll see if St. Francis is able to carry that edge back out onto the floor now that they have gotten themselves back into this to the extent that they're a couple points away from tying it up and taking the lead down by just 3 after it looked for a little while like it was going to be a Judson runaway in this first set. Eagles were swept in their last match. That was against Trinity Christian, and that's the top team in the CCAC right now. The only team, in fact, above St. Francis. Trinity Christian is 7-0. Fighting Saints tied for second at 6-2 in CCAC play. And we will not get a look here at home against Trinity Christian this year, but the Saints will see Trinity in their next match this Saturday. So they would like to go into that one with a little bit of a solid run of success behind them by picking up a win in this match. Brooklyn Withy sends the serve away, and we're back in play. Ebert again into the net. So coming out of the timeout, Mackenzie Ebert commits one of the same infractions she did just a few moments ago that hurt Judson a little bit, sending a big swing right into the net. That's the leading attacker on the team. So it's an uncharacteristic mistake for Ebert, but it is just a 2-point game. Make it a 1-point game. Withy serve is knocked by Enola Varga into the back wall. It looked like Varga was unsure whether she wanted to play that ball or let it go and see if it would land out of bounds. And as she got caught in between, just couldn't make a good hit on it. It's a 1-point game. 6-0 run for St. Francis, make it 7 in a row. Lauren Stefanski takes advantage of a misplayed ball by Judson. It just drifted over the net. One of the easiest kills that the 6'4" tall junior Lauren Stefanski will have this year. We're tied at 15. Saints can take their first lead here. Judson a little bit out of sorts on that return. See if the Saints can make hay. Lauren Stefanski's hit is dug out by Natalie Kofi. Zakis sets it up for Valent, and Valent gives St. Francis the lead. 16-15. St. Francis has scored 8 points in a row. This is their first lead so far tonight. They trailed, in fact, 5-0. Before they even got a point on the board, they came out lifeless in this match, and they have turned it around entirely. Kofi sets up Ebert, and Ebert gets Judson back on the board. A sorely needed point for the Eagles right there. We're tied 16-all. After a great start for Judson, a huge run for St. Francis, and now we should see some competitive volleyball down the stretch. Into the net. And Enola Varga makes a critical error on a serve. For Varga, that's the 45th service error this season. Throwing away the most on the Eagles. And the Saints are happy for her mistake. They lead by 1 again. There's McKenna Bartecki. Big hit inside the line. That's Katie Valeria. Junior from Dodgeville ties it up at 17. So like I said, both teams went on their runs, and now we get some competitive action back and forth for the final third of this first set. 8 points to win it. Serve is off from Stephanie Lane. Angst for Valent. Pushed across by Judson. Valent again, blocked, and a point for the Eagles. 18-17, Judson takes the lead. Good block right there to put them back in front after they led for the vast majority of this first set. They recapture the advantage after they had trailed since 16-15, and now we're tied again at 18. Anna Pacheco comes in to get this serve off, checking in to Jaden Levesey-Gork. Kendra Bullard in for Alexis Angst. Hit up into the air by Conchal. Still alive, and Conchal whacks it over. Pacheco to Stephanie Woods. Hit up in the air by Judson. Pushed across again by Conchal. Stephanie Woods gets it over on a lunging play made there by Varga. Woods again, this time to the back line and out of bounds. Woods maybe got a little bit too aggressive on that attack. Rather than keep the volley alive, she went for the kill shot. Just too strong. 19-18, Judson by a point. Taylor Valance ties it up. Stephanie Lane tried to keep that ball alive by making the diving play with the left hand. She did hit it up into the air, but it drifted too far back out of play for any of her fellow defenders to keep the volley going. So we're tied at 19. Tapped over. Kara Courier wanted an underhand call there. Didn't get it. We continue. And it works out for the Saints. All's well that ends well. Kendra Bullard picks up her first kill of the night. And the Saints are in front, 20-19. Saints have led now 3 or 4 times. I think this is their 3rd lead, but they've never been up by more than 1 point. They'll try to make it a 2-pointer here. It doesn't work. Taylor Valance with the serve sends it right into the net. 20 all. We got a good one going here. Judson is led by as many as 9 points. St. Francis by as many as 1. Eagles were up 5-0 to get things started. They were up 11-2 before St. Francis made their run. Stephanie Woods puts the Saints back on top. 21-20. Kill for the sophomore middle hitter Woods. Katie Zakis goes back to serve. 15 aces on the season for Zakis. Just across by Burns. Zakis to Pacheco to Stefanski, and Lauren Stefanski gives the Saints their biggest lead so far, 22-20. Big hit by Lauren Stefanski, the star attacker in the conference so far this season. Tipped at the net, in the hands of Zakis. Now it's Brooklyn Withy getting it over. This is Burns, tipped at the net, played on the back line. Withy, knocked away and out of bounds. Concho tried to keep that one alive. Instead, she deflected it straight out. At a point to St. Francis, they lead 23-20, and a timeout is called by the team in blue. Judson struggling here. They started out on a 5-0 run. They were up 11-2 before the Saints started to get on a roll, and since then, the Saints have dominated. 21-9 the score. Just that great start for Judson. Fighting Saints 6-2 in CCAC play this year. Their second loss in the conference came in their most recent outing. It was on Tuesday night when they dropped the first 2 sets, came back and forced a 5th and fell 15-13, a heartbreaker against Indiana Northwest. Lately, the Saints haven't been so good against those Indiana directional schools. They've lost to Indiana Northwest and Indiana East in the last month, and that's about it. They've won 8 of their last 10. Those 2 losses I just mentioned, the only 2 defeats in that stretch. This is not an easy part of the schedule right now, though. Judson, and then the next 6 after that on the road, including 2 very difficult conference games at Trinity Christian and at Cardinal Stritch. Big one tonight for the Fighting Saints against Judson at home. They need to pick up a win to put themselves in shape to move within Trinity Christian, move within a game of Trinity Christian on Saturday. Saints looking for the kill. Brooklyn Withy's got it. 24-20. 4 straight points scored by the Fighting Saints, and now they're 1 away from taking the first set. First of what could be as many as 4 consecutive set points for St. Francis. Blocked off of Kuchek's hit by Brooklyn Withy. Concho blocked, but down, a point for Judson. 24-21, obviously not the result that St. Francis wanted on that point, but they still have the chance to win 3 more times here. Serve is off from Natalie Kofi. Pacheco for Stefanski, a little tap over, returns. Stefanski tries again, this time with 2 hands, and Ebert brings it back over. Pass from Zakis to Kendra Bullard. Knocked over by Zoe Eitel, and a kill shot from Taylor Concho makes it 24-22. Good resilience here from Judson with their backs against the wall. They're 2 points away from forcing St. Francis to score at least 26. Kofi sends off another serve, and it's too strong. Out of bounds, and there's your game. 25-22, St. Francis defeats Judson in the first set tonight. Fighting Saints put together a nice little comeback after they trailed 5-0 out of the gate. The biggest deficit was 9 points when it was 11-2, and they were simply dominant the rest of the way after trailing 11-2. They outscored Judson over the next stretch of play. 22, trying to do the quick math here, it was 11-2, and then 24-20 was St. Francis' biggest lead, so 22-9 was their run. And then Judson made it interesting in the end, but not interesting enough. St. Francis, a third of the way to a big victory here tonight against the Eagles of Judson. We'll take a quick break, back in a few moments to bring you set number 2. Good start for the Saints tonight. Second set coming up here at St. Francis. 1-0. The Fighting Saints lead the match right now against a tough opponent, the Eagles of Judson, who had a 7-match winning streak snapped earlier this week against Trinity Christian. Looked like they came out fired up after taking that loss, ready to start a new winning streak. They jumped out to a big early lead, a dominant start for the Eagles, and then St. Francis took over. We'll see if they can carry that into game number 2. As Katie Zakis comes on to complete the sextet on the floor for St. Francis. Lauren Stefanski, Alexis Engst, Gabby Paelmo, Brooklyn Withy, and Hannah Pacheco out there as well. Serves away from Natalie Kofi and out of bounds. Initial call was in from the line judge. The referee overruled. Said it landed out. 1-0 Saints as Kofi's serve is just barely out. There's a borderline call right on top of it. From this angle, it was hard to tell. Alexis Engst serves it for the Saints as they take the first lead in the second set and give it up very quickly. Not anything they did wrong. A nice shot by Judson. The block goes out of bounds. We're tied at 1. Mackenzie Ebers serves it off for the Saints. And Brooklyn Withy returns it to the Eagles. Withy, 2 hands across. Concho is blocked out of bounds. Second straight block that goes out of bounds. Saints are as good as it gets in the conference when it comes to blocks. Judson right there with them. 2 very good defensive teams, but the Saints have consistently been in there up at the net as Brooklyn Withy is not able to return this one successfully. She loses it out of bounds. 3 straight points for Judson. They get off to another good start for the second straight set. The Saints have consistently been up at the net. They just haven't had the success they've wanted on those block attempts lately. Here's Withy. Concho for Judson makes it 4 in a row. 4-1 Eagles. I don't know what it is about the start of a set, but Judson comes out hot. St. Francis leads 1 set to none right now. Fighting Saints are 9-3 this season. When winning the first sets, they put themselves in good position here tonight. Thanks to Withy. Withy is blocked, kept up in the air by Katie Zakis. Here's Withy again. Eberts. Sliding stop made by Zakis. Jade Livesey-Gork gets it across to Kofi. Zoe Eitel into the net. An attacking error on Judson. And a point to the Fighting Saints, 4-2. You know, I mentioned 9-3 when winning the first set, and that's a good record, but I guess it's probably about standard. You're always going to win a much higher percentage of the matches when you win the first set. Tapped down on the wrong side of the net by Taylor Concho. She tried to get a little cute with it and just tap it over the blockers, and she tapped it a little bit too softly. Couldn't get it over. It's 4-3. Withy hits it up to Zakis. Stefanski backwards knocks it over. Nice diving play by Withy. There's Taylor Valent looking for the point, not getting it. That's Eitel for Judson. Angst for Stefanski, pushes to the back line. Nice return. Valent tipped twice and down. We're tied at 4. 3 straight points for St. Francis after Judson had scored 4 in a row. Knotted up at 4 as Withy gets the serve. Alexis Inks sets up Taylor Valent, and Valent is able to shake off the block and get the point. 5-4 St. Francis. They take the lead for the second time. They were also ahead 1-0. Now trying to move ahead by multiple points for the first time this set. It's an ace for Brooklyn Withy. The Eagles not able to return it. 6-4, a 5-0 run for the Fighting Saints. They went on a 5-0 run at one point late in the first set. They had an 8-0 run at one stage. Trying to match that here. Withy needs a few more. A good play by Withy defensively. Angst for Livesey-Gork. Cross the blockers. Played by Varga rather. There's a block by Lauren Stefanski. Stefanski led the conference with 80 blocks coming in. She's got a solo right there. It's 7-4 Saints. And another ace for Withy. That's 2 during this stretch. Timeout called by Judson. 8-4 our score. St. Francis holds the lead. 7 straight for the Fighting Saints, so they are now just 1 point away from matching their longest run in the first set. They've already matched their largest lead in the first set at 4 points. They were ahead 24-20 late in that first game before holding on to win 25-22. And now they've got an early 4-point advantage here in the second at 8-4. And this one started similarly to the first game. In that one, Judson scored the first 5 points. In this second set, St. Francis scored the first point, but then 4 in a row were scored by Judson, so it wasn't quite a 5-0 lead, but I'm sure they were happy with 4-1. Since then, it's belonged to the Fighting Saints. 7 points in a row. They'll try to make it 8. Withy's been at the serve for a long time, and coming out of the timeout, she gets to try her 7th straight serve. And she drops it inside the line. Another ace. That's 3 for Brooklyn Withy, who came in with 19 of them for the season. She's got 3 among her last 7 points. It's an 8-0 run for the Saints. That one, unconventional ace, skimmed the net and then dropped on the line. Judson let it go. There's a return from Taylor Conchel, who gets the kill. Judson back on the board, still trailing by 4. That was a big point after the Saints had scored the previous 8. Gork to the back line, and Ebert. Blocked by Stefanski. Lauren Stefanski has her second block of this second set. 10-5. Saints are doubling up the Eagles. McKenna Bartecki comes on to serve. There's a hit by Bartecki, but can't keep it alive. And the point goes to Judson. It's 10-6. Eagles hanging around, down by 4. 5 has been their largest deficit of this set and of the match. They can cut it to 3 right here as the serve is sent off by Stephanie Lane. Inks sets up Livesey Gork, who pushes it right into the net. So attacking error on Jade Livesey Gork, and a point to the Eagles, who are within 3. Stephanie Lane, L-A-Y-N-E. Stephanie Woods, spelled the normal way, into the net. One Stephanie gets another one. Lane with a point, Woods the error. It's 10-8. 3 in a row for Judson as they get themselves back in it. Angst for Woods. This time Woods drops it down very cleanly. Off the top of the net and inside the line along the left side. 11-8. It's a nice point for St. Francis because it cuts down on a potential big run for Judson. Slows down the momentum that the Eagles were building. And now Pacheco will try to start St. Francis on another run. Set from Pacheco for Taylor Valent, and Valent has another kill. She's had a really nice night so far. The junior from St. Anne, Illinois, Taylor Valent, makes it 12-8 St. Francis. There's Pacheco's serve. Tapped over and down just in bounds. Taylor Conchel gets the point. Conchel is a senior who did previously attend St. Francis, never went to school here, but she's a product of St. Francis High School. So this has got to feel like home for her. Well, maybe not too comfortable, not as comfortable as home. She serves it out of bounds. The service error makes it 13-9. St. Francis holds the lead, halfway to a Game 2 victory. Here's Valent. Good reception by Valent, but dropped down by Mackenzie Ebert. It was a good dig by Valent initially, but it drifted over the net, and an easy put down by Mackenzie Ebert. It's a 3-point game. Judson keeping it close. Stephanie Lane's serve is returned by Brooklyn Withy. Stephanie Woods gets it over, and it's dropped in by Stephanie Puchek. And that is Stephanie with an F, just in case you were wondering. A lot of Stephanies out there. We got to keep them all straight. It's a big point for Stephanie Puchek. Judson starting to look better again. They've trailed by as many as 5. Just a 2-point game now. Kendra Bullard hits it high, and it's returned. Blocked on top of the net. Kept alive by Woods. Woods hits it over. A block by the Fighting Saints, back to the Judson side. Hit over and down. Point to the Eagles, they're within one. If that was Stephanie Puchek again, an atypical kill. Eagles can tie it right here. Stephanie Woods is not able to get it down to the point. Judson hits it back over, and Kara Courier calls timeout. We're tied at 13. Here's a 5-0 run for Judson. We're on an 8-3 run overall, and that's why the timeout called by St. Francis. It's been a game of runs. It's really been a match of runs so far. Both teams have had some good ones. That first set started with an 11-2 Judson run, and then Fighting Saints came back with an 8-0 spurt. That spurred them on to victory. 25-22 is the final. In the second set, Judson was up 4-1. Saints again scored 8 in a row. Anytime you can score 8 straight points twice in one set, especially in back-to-back games like this, you know you're doing something right. St. Francis certainly was, but Judson has turned it around. 5 straight points for the Eagles. Has tied it up 13 all. And the Fighting Saints come out of the timeout with Palmo, Bullard, Withy, Woods, and Pacheco. Libero Zakis. Here come the Eagles out of their huddle. Burns, Puchek, Eberts, Valeria, Conchal. Stephanie Lane is on the floor for Judson, but it's Katie Valeria doing the serving. Valeria's serve goes right into the net. Saints catch a break. It's 14-13. St. Francis reclaims the lead. They've not trailed this one since it was 4-3. Here's Zakis' serve. Out of bounds on the attack from Mackenzie Ebert. She drew it immediately. Pulled her hands back in frustration with what she was in position to make a very good hit. And she pulled her swing just a little bit to the left and knocked it out of bounds. Tapped over this time by Puchek. Here's Stefanski getting another kill. 3 in a row for the Fighting Saints at 16-13. All of a sudden, after Judson put a scare into them, St. Francis appears to be on their way to victory once again, though they've still got time to pull it off. They need another 9 points. This one's a long way from over. And that's case in point right there. Judson tightens it up, 16-14. Fighting Saints took their first lead of the first game with their 16th point. This time they've got 16 and lead by 2. Pacheco for Withy. Withy gets it in bounds. That was a close one. But she hugged the sideline, dropped it in. 17-14 our score. Another big point for the Fighting Saints. Alexis Engst tries to get him a little bit closer to the win. Big hit out of bounds. Mr. Nesterovich wound up and threw that one down. And out the end line, 18-14. And some miscommunication there between Kofi and Nesterovich. Neither one wanted to play it. Kofi leaned forward at the last second, did what she had to do. But all she could do was tap it out of bounds. 5-point lead for the Saints, make it 4. 5 points actually matched their biggest lead yet. It had been 10-5 before Judson went on their run. 19-14 was the first time the Saints matched that 5-point advantage. Now it's down to 4. Stefanski makes it 5 again. Lauren Stefanski gives the Saints a 20-15 lead. Taylor Valens is in for Palmo. Serve from Witty. Low serve, just gets over the net. Stephanie Lane gets it back across. Angst for Stefanski, so inside the sideline on the left side. 21-15, Lauren Stefanski starting to take over these last few minutes. St. Francis is on its way, 4 points away from a 2-0 lead in this match. Here's the serve from Witty. Blocked by the Saints, punched into the air, and Judson gets it across. Jade Livesey-Gork to the back line, kept alive by Kofi. Witty to Valent, Taylor Valent towards the corner. Varga is there for Judson. Now Stefanski drops it in the corner. Back-to-back kills for Lauren Stefanski. 22-15, timeout called by Judson. Their final timeout of the second set. St. Francis leads the match so far 1-0. They score 3 more points here. They'll put themselves in prime position to improve their record to 7-2 in conference play. This is a team that's overall record is only 11-9. The Fighting Saints don't really jump out at you off of paper, but you watch them play. They've been very good, especially here at home, and that's primarily where I have seen them play. They've won back-to-back home matches, both of them in 5 sets, including all of the home matches have gone 5 sets tonight, or this year I should say. Tonight they would like to finish it up in 3 if they can. Maybe 4, but not 5. After they won the first set, 3 is obviously the optimal scenario. Judson knows that they'll now need at least 4 sets if they want to win, and probably 5 if this score keeps up. Definitely 5 if the score keeps up. Saints trying to put the Eagles away here late in set 2. 22-15 with a serve. Blocked by the Saints. Returned by Judson. Here's Angst for Valence, and that's out of bounds. Nice attempt by Taylor Valence. Sails wide, 22-16 our score. USF still in the driver's seat in this one. Angst sets up Livesey-Gork, and that's a kill. 23-16 Saints. They need to outscore Judson, or I should say they just need to not be outscored. Greater than 7-2 the rest of the way, and they're golden. There's another block. This time it's Stephanie Woods. And there with Jade Livesey-Gork. And that sets up set point for St. Francis. They'll have as many as 8 set points. McKenna Bartecki trying to get it done in 1. She can't play it. She and Brooklyn Witty both dove for that ball. Neither one came up with it. A point for Judson, 24-17. The Eagles once again keep a stiff upper lip and give themselves a chance. In the first set, they scored 2 straight points after their opponent had gone to 24. See if they can play inspired again here. Valence for Angst. For Livesey-Gork, and there's your game. 25-17. Jade Livesey-Gork came on strong at the end of that second set, and she comes away with the game-winning point. We are 2 sets into a potentially 5-set match. And now there's also a chance that we see only 3 matches, or 3 sets tonight. That's exactly what St. Francis is hoping for. They're 25 points away from a win, leading 2-0. Back in a few moments with the 3rd set. 2-0. That's our match standing right now. St. Francis leads Judson after the first 2 sets and now trying to finish it off in 3. The two teams have flipped sides once again, so the Saints are on the right, the Eagles are on the left, and Judson is in desperation mode now. Saints have been victorious 25-22 and then 25-17. Good news for the Fighting Saints this season. They have not lost a match all year when they've taken the first 2 sets. They'll try to keep that going as Katie Zakis gets the first serve. Judson trying to score first for the 3rd straight time, and they can't do it. Great return by Gabby Paomo, and the Saints get the 1-0 lead. I have to correct myself. Saints took a 1-0 lead in the second set as well. Judson then scored the next 4 points, so this time the Saints will try to get on an early run. And they won't. Zakis sends it into the net. Sure, Zakis frustrated with herself on that serve because the crowd and certainly the bench of St. Francis made some good noise for Paomo after that first point. Not the way you usually see it get done. Kendra Bullard hits it out of bounds. Saints playing who was tipped. Referees say not quite. So it's 2-1 Judson. Saints were not able to seize that early momentum as they had the service error. But they get the point back now, 2-2. 1 error on serves for each side. This season, when winning the first 2 sets, the Saints are 8-0. And 7 of those 8 matches they've actually finished off in the 3rd set without having to go any further. The other one, they won in 4. Kept alive by the Saints on the tip. Almost sets up Withy, and Withy gets it over. There's Kofi for Burns. Brianna Burns pushes it over. Stefanski received on the other end by Varga. There's a big hit on the line for Katie Valeria. Good hit by Valeria. 3-2 Judson. You take a 2-0 lead, you know you're going to win more often than not, but the Saints know firsthand that you can fall behind 2-0 and still make a good match of it. They did it just 2 days ago. Stefanski is blocked. Nice save by Jay Gork. But she's blocked at the net by Valeria. And the point goes to Judson. They lead 4-2. On Tuesday against Indiana Northwest, St. Francis fell behind 2-0. There's a little lollipop serve, well placed, but not well enough to get the ace for Concho. Saints do push it across out of bounds though. Attacking error makes it 3 straight points for Judson. The Eagles get off to a strong start for the 3rd straight game. They were up 5-0 in the first set. Good diving play by Zakis there. They're up 4-1 in the second set. Now 5-2 in this one, but Brooklyn Withy gets the Saints back on the board. Little mistake on the attack from Judson, and Withy was able to drop it down. 5-3. Withy into the net. 6-3, Judson in front. It's a 3rd now of Judson's points coming on St. Francis serving mistakes. Eagles get the serve. It's Valeria from the left side into the net. That's the 2nd service error on Judson. That's half of St. Francis's points in this 3rd set. 6-4 as Hannah Monfrey comes on as the server. First appearance for Monfrey in today's match. Freshman from Franklin, Wisconsin. Big hit from Puchak out of bounds. St. Francis is within 1. 6-5 Judson. Saints' only lead was 1-0. Try to take another one here. Brianna Burns has other ideas, but her ideas are thwarted as she hits it out of bounds on the attack. 6-6, we're knotted up. 3 straight points for the Fighting Saints. Monfrey trying to make it 4 in a row. Varga backs up to make the play. Pushed across by Ebert. There's a set for Livesey Gork. Received by Kofi. Ebert. Good play by Valent to keep it alive. Brooklyn Withy down into the corner and inbounds. Point St. Francis. They've scored 4 in a row. They lead 7-6. Fighting Saints have done a great job of going on some runs in today's match. Started with that great 8-0 run in the first set that turned it around after they trailed by 9. They took their first lead at 16-15. The Saints can get out of their own way here in the third set. They'd be rolling. That's their third service error. Monfrey had scored 3 straight points on the serves prior to that mistake. We're now tied at 7. The 3 service errors committed by the Saints. Judson's only gotten 4 points any other way. Eagles themselves have made 2 errors on serves. Saints have 5 other points. Trying to pick up a 6th right here on their own. Balance. Good diving play by Varga. But it looks like we've got a double hit on Judson. Saints didn't even have to work for that point. They did work, don't get me wrong. But in the end, it was Judson's unforced error that led to the Saints reclaiming a 1-point lead, 8-7. Pacheco gets the serve this time. That's a hit up in the air from Withy and knocked over by Ballant, but blocked by Puchek. Stephanie Puchek gets Judson the tie. It's 8-8. Diving play by Zakis to dig it from the ground. Tipped at the net by Judson, but out of bounds. That was tipped by, I think, Alyssa Nesterovic was the one who got it. Just couldn't keep it alive. 9-8, Saints lead. Ballant serves from the right. It's a good serve. Judson able to return it. Tipped at the net in front of Zakis. Initially tipped by Brooklyn Withy, barely got a piece of it. It dropped down right in front of Katie Zakis, and Zakis tried to make the play and came up a little bit short. 9-all. Serve from Varga. Stephanie Woods tipped at the net, played on the back line by Ebert. Conchel gets it down. Blocked by the Saints, but they couldn't keep it up and alive. So a point for Taylor Conchel, and Enola Varga gets to serve once again. Kendra Bullard hits it over. Judson keeps it going. And that hits the line. A good hit from Katie Valeria. Barely got it on the line. But Valeria does indeed procure the kill. 11-9 Judson. The Eagles have led by as many as 3 here in this third set. Saints, not by more than a point, but it's been very tight. Back and forth third set with St. Francis leading the match 2-0. Here's Brooklyn Withy. That one hits off the antenna. It's out of bounds. Point to Judson. They've scored 4 in a row. They lead 12-9. And Enola Varga will try to extend the lead, serving once again from the right side. A high arcing serve played by the Saints. Stephanie Woods has a kill. Good swing from Stephanie Woods. Makes it 12-10. Saints are back within 2. And the Saints regain the serve here. Lauren Stefanski back in up front for St. Francis. Katie Zakis in back for the serve. Big swing, but into the net. It stayed alive for St. Francis and knocked out of bounds by Palma, or rather by Bullard. Makes it 13-10, a point to Judson. Valeria tried to come down hard on that ball, but she got it off the top of the net. And that killed the velocity of her hit. That meant the Saints had a chance to return it, but they did so out of bounds. Here's Withy. To the back line, kept in by Ebert. Tapped over by Conchel, blocked by Bullard, but out. It's just out, and Judson takes their biggest lead so far in this set, 14-10. 11 points away from forcing a 4th set, so that's still a long way to go. They're in the driver's seat right now. Stefanski gives them a little bit less breathing room. Another kill for Lauren Stefanski. It's 14-11. The serve belongs to Alexis Engst. Engst has not been out there much over the last couple of sets, but she gets a chance to reassert herself here as Burns knocks it out, but it was tipped. Tipped at the net. Looked like that hit may have been altered slightly. I'm not sure. It was going to be ticketed for out of bounds, out of the hands of Burns. It was because of the tip that it went out. So 15-11 now. Judson by 4. There's a set from Engst for Livesey Gork. Tipped back in bounds by Judson. Nice block by Brianna Burns, and a timeout is called by St. Francis. They're reeling a little bit here in the middle stages of the third set. 16-11. Judson is on top. This is the first timeout of this third set, and Judson has taken control for sure, leading by 5. St. Francis was trailing, though, at this stage of the first set rather. They were down 15-8, and that's when they made their run. It certainly did not seem evident during the first set that Judson was definitively the better team, but it looked like they were easily on their way to a first set victory, and St. Francis was going to have to play catch-up. They played catch-up all right, but they did it all in that first set, rather than waiting for the second to try to play from behind in the match. They played from behind in the first set, really dominated that one the rest of the way, played some great volleyball, and they came away with a 25-22 win. Second set was a little bit closer, back and forth for a while, and then the Saints pulled away, and they won relatively easily with a final score of 25-17. And now the third set, nip and tuck to begin, has belonged to Judson lately. They're up 16-11 and make it 17-11 as they get an ace out of St. Francis' timeout. Taylor Conchel drives it home to make it 17-11. It's a 9-2 run for the Eagles. Stefanski receives the serve. Jay Livesey Gork knocks it out of bounds. No tip that time. It's 18-11 to Judson. We're on a 10-2 run, and now the Saints are in a little bit of trouble here. They need to outscore Judson 14-6 over the next 20 points just to stay alive in this. Brooklyn Lee is blocked inbounds. That got the line on the block, 19-11 Eagles. This is a good Judson team. Again, winners of 7 in a row prior to their last match. So currently still 7 of 8. They didn't figure to go down quietly in this third set, but they played better even than anyone would have imagined. I think 20-11 they lead now as the Saints commit the attacking error. And they'll switch it up here with the freshman Peyton Baird coming in for Jay Livesey Gork. Serve from Conchel, awkward hit by Witty, but she does keep it alive. Nice diving play by Varga. Judson returns, another block by the Saints, and this time they're able to get it down. 4 hits from Judson. (20-12). Saints trail big. They've got a chance now, though, with Brooklyn Witty on the serve. Conchel hits it off the hand of Brooklyn Witty and out of bounds. A point to the Eagles. 21-12 is the score. The Eagles getting a little bit more animated on their side. Feeling good, really, about the way things are going for the first time since early in the first set. Taylor Valent dinks it over. Nice play by Valent. Went up strong with the right hand and then just tapped it over with the left. 21-13 our score. Should be a big comeback now for the Saints if they were to pull it off. They're not dead in this third set, trying to pull off the sweep today. There's the serve from Hannah Monfrey. And a kill for Brianna Burns. Judson fired up. They lead by 9. Back to serve for the Eagles, Stephanie Lane. If she does it effectively, she may not give it up the rest of this set. There's Lane's serve off to her fellow number 6, Brooklyn Withy. Stephanie Woods is blocked, but the Judson Eagles are not able to block it fully to the other side of the net. A partial block. It's 22-14. McKenna Bartecki comes in to serve. Stephanie Woods drops it down. Heady play there by Stephanie Woods. Saints down 22-15. Still a hefty deficit at this stage of the set, but not insurmountable right now. Here's another serve from Bartecki. Tapped across and out of bounds. Nesterovic was trying to pick up a big kill. Just got it out though. 22-16. We've got a game again. Eberts trying to put a halt to that. Big swing, got a kill for Mackenzie Ebert. 23-16. Ebert got the kill. She gets the serve. Angst for Withy. Blocked, and somehow the Saints keep it alive, but an illegal touch. Makes it 24-16. Set point here for Judson. They're on the verge of sending us to a fourth. Sliding play by Zakis keeps it alive. Judson looking for the point on a block for the Saints. They don't get it. 24-17. Good block for St. Francis. Scores 24-17. They need 7 more in a row. They've done it on 2 separate occasions today, gone on 8-0 runs. They need to right now. Kuchek is blocked by Withy. Awkward hit by Judson. Can they get it over? No, sir. 24-18. Again, don't count the Saints out. They've been on multiple 8-0 runs today. They've scored 2 in a row so far in this stretch with their backs against the wall. Serve for Taylor Valance. Pushed over, returned by Ebert. Diving play Zakis, but she can't keep it alive. It's a kill for Taylor Conchel and a game winner. 25-18, the final score in set number 3, and we are destined for a fourth. St. Francis unable to come up with their first straight sets victory here at home this year, and they'll have to do it in 4 or 5 if they want to come away with their 7th conference win. 3 minutes between sets here. Take a quick break. Saints still lead it 2-1. Sullivan Center on the campus of the University of St. Francis. The Fighting Saints lead Judson University 2-1 in a CCAC volleyball matchup. Saints took the opening 2 sets. Judson kept their hopes alive with a 4th set victory, 25-18. And now the Eagles will serve first. Enola Varga on the back line, playing on the right side of your screen now. Stefanski, Angst, Baird, Zakis, Withy, and Valent out there for the Fighting Saints, and Lauren Stefanski strikes first. 1-0 St. Francis, and the junior transfer from Loyola's kill. 1-0 Saints. Stefanski will get her first serve of the night. She muscles it to the back corner where Varga plays it. Nice play by Withy to keep it alive. Stefanski pushes over. And a good kill. It's Concho. 1-1. We're tied. Well, I mentioned it before. It's an interesting stat. The Saints are 8-0 this year prior to tonight when taking 2-0 leads in matches. And 7 of those 8 had been won in 3 sets. This is only the 2nd time out of 9 this year in which the Fighting Saints won the first 2 and then didn't finish off the streak. Nathan Baird trying to make sure that it is at least a 4-set victory, as Baird has a monster kill there for the Fighting Saints to take a 2-1 lead. Best swing we've seen from her so far tonight. McKenna Bartecki checks in as the server. Conchal blocked at the net, hit up in the air by Brianna Burns. Conchal again. There's Bartecki. Stephanie Woods gets it over. Played by the Eagles. Tipped at the net and into the net, hit by Taylor Valent. It's 2-2. We're tied after the first 4 points. First to 25 here in the 4th set. Taylor Conchal's serve, returned by Brooklyn Withy, but knocked out of bounds by Alexis Angst. Not at the right angle to keep that one alive after Withy was the first to touch it. Saints were a little bit slow to react on that second hit, so they trail 3-2. They've trailed early in all 4 of our sets tonight in this match, and there's an ace picked up by Conchal. Saints let it go, but it hit the line, and Conchal and the Eagles lead 4-2 now. Another ace, hit awkwardly by Stephanie Woods. And it's 5-2 Judson, another big early lead for the Eagles. Like I said, they've led by multiple points early in all 4 sets. Out of bounds that time. Conchal got a little too cute on the serve attempt. 5-3. Not just an attempted serve, I suppose, but an actual one. Just didn't go where she wanted it to. Out of bounds. Taylor Valent's serve stays in. Tipped at the net by the Saints. Angst for Withy. Played on the back line by Judson's Natalie Kofi. Alexis Angst for Brooklyn Withy. And Withy gets it down. Saints are within 1. It's 5-4. Judson this year has been swept in 5 different matches this year. They have 5 3-set losses. If they forced at least a 4th, they usually win. They're 10-2 in matches that go 4 or 5 sets. Taylor Valent hits it over. Big hit by Conchal, and on the line. Or was it? The call has been changed initially. Oh, no, it was on the line. I'm sorry. It was not changed. 6-4. Stick with your gut. Judson does get the point on a big hit by Taylor Conchal. Serve belongs to Katie Valeria. Angst for Withy. Withy pushes it over and down. Diving attempt from Ebert goes for naught. 6-5. The Eagles are 10-2 in matches that go at least 4 sets. Saints, on the other hand, have gone just 4-8 when going 4 sets or more. They pick up most of their wins in the 3-set variety. There's a kill for Ebert, or rather Zoe Eitel Let me try it a third time. I believe that was Puchek. Stephanie Puchek picked up the point for Judson. They lead by 2, 7-5. They get the serve back. Giving up to Stephanie Lane, who gets it on the line. That's the second time in this fourth set that a Saint has just let the ball go on a serve thinking it would drop out, and it didn't. 8-5. Saints somehow keep that one alive. Good defense. And out of bounds on the attack from Puchek. It's 8-6. Saints have struggled in longer matches this year, though not as much at home. The Eagles have been very good in longer matches, so they got over that first big hurdle by winning the third set. And now they've looked very good so far in the fourth. Saints trying to erase the deficit as Brooklyn Whitty hits it across. And a double hit called against Judson. Saints are within 1. 8-7 is our score. Crowd has filed in nicely here this evening. Relatively empty here in the Sullivan Center when we started, but a good audience right now trying to cheer the Saints on to their third straight home win. They're 9th in their last 11 matches overall. Blocked by the Saints there, but out of bounds. Out of bounds on the block, 9-7. Judson has a 2-point lead. Serve from Mackenzie Ebert, returned by Withy. Withy gets it across. There's a tap over by Conchal. Nice sliding play made by Angst. Brooklyn Withy taps it over. Palmo to Angst to Stefanski. Good dig. Blocked by Stefanski and down. Stefanski gets the solo block. 9-8 is our score. Saints back within 1. Judson, as has been the case early in most games tonight, has held the lead for the majority of the start of this thing. The Saints can come back and tie it right now. Judson's been ahead by as many as 3. Stefanski tips it over softly. Returned by Judson. Good dig by Witty. Balance to the back line, played by Ebert. And that one is off the side of the hand of Brooklyn Withy. Point to Stephanie Puchek. St. Francis unable to come back and earn the tie score. It's 10-8 Judson. Serve belongs to Enola Varga. Angst for Stefanski. Returned by Varga. Right up in the air by Zakis and out of bounds. Point to Judson. They lead 11-8. Eagles have been fired up since they went behind in the match 2-0. They're not going to go down without a fight tonight. Trying to force a 5th set. Stefanski taps it over. Here's Conchal, dropping it in bounds, just out of the reach of Katie Zakis. 12-8. Judson has their biggest lead so far in this 4th set. Timeout called by the Fighting Saints. Saints won the first 2 tonight, 25-22 and 25-17. Since then, though, it's been all Judson. They've outscored St. Francis collectively over the last 2 sets, 37-26. In fact, these 2 sets so far have looked very similar, the 3rd and 4th. 3rd was back and forth. Each team exchanged leads, never going ahead by more than, it seemed, 1 or 2 at a time. And then all of a sudden, Judson got hot. They took their first 4-point lead at 14-10 and just ran away from there. And now, similarly, in this 4th set, back and forth, close early, and now Judson is getting on a roll. They've taken their first 4-point lead with a 12-8 score, and that's what forced Garrett Courier to call the timeout. St. Francis, a very good team in conference so far this year, 6-2. Winners of 8 of their last 10 overall, obviously not all of those in conference. But they're still a pretty young team. They've got only 1 senior on the roster, that's Jade Livesey Gork. So they have at times been prone to mistake-filled stretches. And right now they're trying to regain their footing after they seem to be in complete control of this match. Judson trying to even it up and carry us into a fifth set. Lauren Stefanski trying to get the Saints closer to a win, but a nice dig by Stephanie Lane keeps it alive and out of bounds on the attack from Eberts. Saints get the point out of the timeout. 12-9 our score. 9-12 really. Hannah Monfrey comes in to serve. Monfrey's serve goes too strong and out of bounds. And Stefanski right back in for it. 13-9 our score. Judson has the lead and the serve. It belongs to the hometown hero, Natalie Kofi from Elgin, Illinois. Same home as Judson University, Elgin, up north of here. Taylor Valance skies and takes the swing to the back line, played by Eberts. Zakis on the receiving side for St. Francis. Now Peyton Baird gets it off the side of the arm of Ebert, but kept alive by Judson, and Ebert gets it over for the point. A kill for Mackenzie Ebert, came in with 255 of them for the season. Judson leads by 5. That's a game-high lead for them. That's inbound. That's the third time in this fourth game that the Saints have let a serve go, hoping it would drop out, and it landed in. Kofi gets the ace, 15-9. There's a set from Inkst for Valent. Big hit by Valent, but a good dig by Varga. Tipped at the net and dropped in for Judson. Judson leads by 7, and St. Francis calls another timeout. They just called one a few moments ago, but since coming back from that timeout, Judson has scored 4 of 5 points. So Kara Courier wants to nip this in the bud. Again, she's going to try to talk things over with her troops as Judson is in good position right now to force a fifth set. Just a few moments ago, I don't want to say it seemed to be in hand for St. Francis, because a 2-0 lead in the match is never game over, but it did certainly put them in good position. They have not lost all season when winning the first 2 sets. 7 of 8 times they had finished it off right then and there in the third set, and today there's not much there in the third set. They ended up falling by 7. St. Francis today started out by falling behind 11-2 in the first game. And they came out after that and just turned it around in a very dramatic way, outscoring Judson in the rest of that first set by a 23-11 count. St. Francis was the clearly superior team in the second. But ever since about midway through the third set, Judson has been back to the team that started out tonight with that 11-2 spurt. Very impressive. Here's the serve from Kofi. Returned by Whitty, but right to awaiting Katie Valeria, and an easy kill for Valeria. It's 17-9. This is a good time to remind you once again that the Saints twice in today's match have gone on 8-0 runs. Right now, they trail by 8, so it'd be a good time for one of those patented 8-0 runs again, but instead, it's an ace. And Judson takes a 9-point lead. 18-9 is our score. Withy had some trouble returning that one. She checks out. And Monfrey a little trouble with that, but Inkst keeps it alive, and Peyton Baird whacks it out of bounds. An attacking error committed by St. Francis. 19-9, a big lead for Judson. Kofi right into the net. It's a big break for the Fighting Saints. Kofi's been serving really well. But a mistake there keeps the Saints' hopes alive here. Trailing 19-10. McKenna Bartecki comes in to serve. Tipped to the net by the Saints. Hit up into the air by Bartecki. Monfrey passes to Valent, and Valent gets it across to Varga. There's Brianna Burns, again tipped up to the net. Valent again to the back line. Diving play by Varga. Nice dig by Varga. Monfrey for the Saints. Stephanie Woods. Back and forth we go on this rally. That's inbounds. It drops in. 20-10. Judson has been using every inch of the court here in this fourth game. Dropping them just inside the line, on occasion on the line, and that time a little over the line on the serve from Conchal, who had the kill moments ago. This time the service error makes it 11, serving 20. Stefanski is back in for the Fighting Saints, and Bevan Carter, sophomore out of Mother Macaulay, checks in as well. First time we've seen Bevan Carter tonight. A little question about this substitution, though, and everything seems to have checked out. We're okay to continue. Taylor Valent will get the serve. Tipped by the Saints, back to Valent. Here's Carter pushing it over. McKenna Bartecki keeps it alive for St. Francis. Alexis Engst pushes over the net. There's a big swing from Valeria, but a diving play made by Stefanski and knocked out of bounds by Valent. Stephanie Woods comes back in for Bevan Carter. There was some confusion on that substitution. And I'm not sure exactly what the issue is. It was an illegal substitution, I think, by St. Francis. Not illegal, but they made a mistake in the way that they brought them in. It's like Carter had to play up at the net and Stefanski was on the back line. And it did result in a point for Judson. Now more of a conventional setup with Gabby Palmo back in. Brianna Burns hits it into the net. Point to St. Francis, and now Bevan Carter comes back in for Stephanie Woods, and this time Carter can come in at her regular spot and serve. It's 21-12. Judson in front by 9, trying to make it 10, but they can't do it. Point to St. Francis, a little too far outside there from Judson. 21-13 our score. Carter looking for the ace, couldn't get it. Palmo dove and kept that one alive. He's going well out of bounds. Missed a defensive mistake made by Palmo, and it's knocked out of bounds by St. Francis, and the point ends up going to Judson. So 23-13 now. Judson leads by 10, and they're 2 points away from forcing a fifth set. Bartecki hits it up to Zakis. Here's Brooklyn Withy. Withy gets it down. Point St. Francis. It's 14-22. Peyton Baird back in for McKenna Bartecki. Alexis Engst sends away the serve. Stephanie Puchek is blocked. Blocked that time for Baird, but kept in the air by Judson. Engst passes to Zakis, who sets up Baird. Baird is tipped at the net, pushed over. Stefanski plays it back across, and a diving play made by Concho. A diving play by Palmo, but can't get it up high enough. The point goes to Judson. 23-14. Judson knocking on the door of that fifth set. That's an ace for Ebert. Brooklyn Withy unable to receive properly. 24-14. Judson has been totally dominant in the last two sets, and now they're 1 point away from sending us to a fifth. Engst for Stefanski, and she'll keep us here for at least one more point in the fourth. 24-15. This will be the second of a potential 10 straight set points for the Eagles. Serve belongs to the junior Brooklyn Withy. Zakis plays it towards the net, into the net, a point for Judson, and they take the set. 25-15, the final score. The Eagles take out the Saints for the second straight game, and we will have a fifth set to 15 coming up in just a few moments. We're tied 2-2. Be back with the decisive set in about 3 minutes. Here we go into the fifth set. It was looking like a cakewalk early for St. Francis. That might be too strong a word, or 2 words. Call it that, cakewalk, but they were up 2-0. They were in prime position to get this win. Judson's taken over. They've outscored the Fighting Saints 50-33 over the last 2 sets, and the Saints will try to regain their footing here for the fifth. It's their last chance. First 15 wins. And Alexis Engst gets the first serve for the Saints, who stay on this side to start. Raises the top of the net, returned by St. Francis. Warren Stefanski to the back line. It drops in, hits the edge of the line, and the Saints take a 1-0 lead. This is incredible. This is the 4th home match this season for St. Francis. All 4 of them have gone to 5 sets. They've won 2 of the previous 3. Zakis punches it in the air. Saints have 1 more hit to get it over, and they do. Very nice work by the Saints defense. Palmer, the last one to touch it. Returned by Judson. There's a chance for Jade Livesey. Work and drop down in front of Brianna Burns. Livesay Gork didn't push that ball. She was off the net a little bit. Not at the best angle, but she dropped it perfectly. Placing it right in front of Brianna Burns. 2-0 Saints. And a miss hit there by Valeria. She tips it out of bounds. 3-0 St. Francis on the attacking error. Couldn't have asked for a better start for St. Francis to the final set. Alexis Engst. Liddy for Engst. Shade Livesay Gork to the back line, and this time too far, out of bounds. 3-1 is our score. Judson on the board for the first time. The Eagles are dangerous. When they get to 5 sets, they have not lost this year. 3-0. Saints are 2-3 overall. Lauren Stefanski tips it down over the blockers and in front of the diving Varga. 4-1 St. Francis. Anna Monfrey in to serve. Taylor Valent comes on as well. Saints have looked like a different team here in the 5th set than they have the last 2. Completely outplayed in the 3rd and the 4th. They never had a run like this over the last 2 sets. Now here they are leading by 3. Into the net, hit by Judson. It's 5-1. I was about to say, this is the largest lead the Saints have had since they won the 2nd set, 25-17, but even 3 points was the largest lead they had since then. 5-1, great start. And a miss hit nearly by Valeria. Conchal does get it over. Stefanski pushes it towards the corner but out of bounds. A rare attacking error from Stefanski, who entered play today, ranking 2nd in the nation in hitting percentage. She had just 25 attacking errors all year. Barely 1 per match. Valent gets it over. Blocked at the net by Livesay Gork and Stefanski, returned by Judson. Valent goes up high. Varga gets it on the back line. Into the net. Whacked into the net there by Taylor Conchal. St. Francis gets credit for the point. They lead 6-2. McKenna Bartecki comes in as the designated server. Good hit by Ebert, but saved by Bartecki. And we go on with Taylor Valent getting a swing to the back middle, played by Conchal, tipped over by Valeria. Jade Livesay Gork blocked, diving play Monfrey. Stephanie Woods across the net. There's a block and a diving play by Varga keeps it going. Good block for the Saints. Another block. Stephanie Woods out of bounds by Ebert. 2 blocks during that sequence at the net for the Fighting Saints. Stephanie Woods had the 2nd one. And ultimately the point comes not via the block, but via the attacking error on Ebert. 7-2 St. Francis. And a timeout is called by Judson. Julia Fahey in her 2nd season with the Eagles. And her team playing exquisite volleyball during the last 2 sets. Here in the 5th, though, the Saints have looked like they flipped a switch. Totally different looking team from what we've seen recently. And now we'll see if they can finish it off. They are 8 points away. Sometimes it's sobering to think about it in that sense when you get to these 15-point games. A 7-2 lead is nice. It doesn't seem like a runaway, and it isn't really. Judson's still very much alive here, but just to keep this game going, they have to outscore St. Francis 12-7 the rest of the way. That's not easy. Saints will flip sides if they get 1 more point here. McKenna Bartecki on a nice little run as server so far. She's gotten 1 point anyway, trying for 2. Bartecki to Engst, to Livesay Gork, to the back line, and played there by Conchal. Stephanie Woods tries to force it in, but it's blocked back the other way. Monfrey, out of bounds. Seven to 3, that's a much-needed point for Judson. They'll try to fully get themselves back into the conversation here. With a point on this serve from Katie Valeria. Monfort tipped at the net, had to be played at the end line by Concho. To the Segor, cross to Burns. Kofi over to Concho, who gets it over. There's Angst setting up with the Segor, and played by Kofi on the back. Here's Valent. Valent gets the point. Anna Burns was up on the block, but she knocked it out of bounds. Point to St. Francis. They'll switch sides. Now more than halfway to the requisite 15. Anytime you can switch sides when your opponent only has 3, you're doing pretty well for yourselves. Long way from over, but the Saints have put themselves in a really good position to come away with their 9th victory in their last 11 matches and 12th overall. Hannah Pacheco will get the serve coming out of this very brief break. Both sides in position now. Pacheco ready from the right to serve it away. Hit across by Concho. Monfort to Pacheco. Taylor Valent has a little kill. That's 2 in a row for Taylor Valent. 1 on each side of the net. 9-3, a big lead for St. Francis. There's the serve from Pacheco into the net. Hudson needed that. Sometimes when you're reeling, not playing your best volleyball, it's a mistake from the opposition that gets you going. We'll see if that's the case for the Eagles here. I think certainly hope not. Judson has not been able to string together a series of points so far in this set. Now doesn't seem like any good time to start. Taylor Valent doesn't let him. Another kill for Valent. The last 3 points for St. Francis have come on big swings from Valent. 10-4. Valent's serve is away. Trying to pick up a 4th straight point. She'll have to do it from a different position this time. Kept alive by Judson. They've got to get it over here, and they do. Saints block it, but straight down. They can't keep the volley alive. That makes our score 5-10, with Judson doing the serving. Elmo comes in for defense. Serve is off from Mackenzie Ebert. Stephanie Woods inbounds, got it in the corner. Good kill for Stephanie Woods. It's 11-5. Here's Katie Zakis with victory now, potentially right around the corner. It's within St. Francis's grasp. Into the net by Stephanie Puchak. And now the Saints are really knocking at the door. 12-5. Natalie Kofi checks in for Judson. She's playing at the net. Varga receives the serve. Puchak gets it over. There's Palmo. Peyton Baird into the net. Point to Judson. Still kicking, down 6-12. And they need to go on a good stretch here. They are not going to win if they can't score at least 4 or 5 points in a row. Maybe not now, but very soon. Brooklyn Withy gets it over. It's played by Judson. And down by Taylor Concho. That's 2 in a row. See if they can stay on their run. They've tightened things up a little bit here, down by 7. Now it's only 5. Enola Varga set for the serve. Zakis to Withy. And it's across. Tapped over and stepping in to make the play is Hannah Pacheco. Good work by Pacheco. Brooklyn Withy gets it over. Pacheco again on the receiving end of that hit. Peyton Berg drops it in. That's a kill for Peyton Berg. 13-7 St. Francis. Timeout called by Judson, their final timeout of the evening. We're in the 5th set. Saints took the first 2. The Eagles responded with the next 2. And now St. Francis in very good position to finish this match off and improve their record to 3-1 at the Sullivan Center this year. They've won their last 3 meetings with Judson. In fact, they've won their last 4 meetings with Judson. That win streak might sound impressive, but it's actually low for the all-time series between these 2 teams. Fighting Saints are 28-3 all-time against the Eagles, and now trying to win their 5th straight and make it an all-time record of 29-3. 1 year ago tomorrow, they matched up on this court, and St. Francis made quick work of Judson, beating them in straight sets, but it shows how much this Eagles team has improved over the last 12 months. They're not an easy out for anybody. Even the mighty Trinity Christian Shoals, the best team in the conference this year, who beat them in straight sets on Tuesday. They were competitive games. Here we go, out of the timeout. It's Alexis Engst. Tipped by the Saints, diving play Withy. Here's their chance to get it over. Zakis pushes it over the blockers. Knocked down by Katie Valerio. Here's Jade Livesey-Gork, tipped and down. Jade Livesey-Gork sets up match point for the Fighting Saints. Judson played so well in the 3rd and 4th sets, and maybe they ran out of gas a little bit. This has been all Saints here in the 5th. Trying to finish off a 15-7 victory, but the Eagles do get it over. We play on. Lauren Stefanski is blocked. Gets it back over. She gets the block, and the point goes to Judson in the double hit. It's an odd sequence there, and ultimately the point does go to the Eagles. But they need 6 in a row, not including the one they just scored, so 7 in a row total. They need 6 more to have any shot here. Withy hits it up to Engst. Back to Brooke Withy. That is out of bounds. Just out. 14-9. Judson hanging on to a glimmer of hope. Lauren Stefanski douses it with a big kill. And a match point for Lauren Stefanski. 15-9. The Saints take the final set, and they take the match in 5 tonight. 25-22, 25-17, 18-25, 15-25, and finally in the finale, 15-9. These 2 teams match up pretty evenly throughout the night. They end up tying each other with 98 points each. So total dead heat in terms of the number of points scored, but all that matters at the end of the day is the number of sets won, and the Saints took 3 to Judson's 2. Started off really well. In the end, it was not easy, but St. Francis does get the victory, and that's, I don't want to say all that really matters at the end, but I think it's the most important thing tonight as the Saints improve their record in conference play to 7-2. They're now 12-9 overall in the season, and they're 9-2 of their last 11 matches after they started this year with a 3-7 mark. As for Judson, they won 7 in a row. Now they've lost 2 in a row. It's been a tough week for the Eagles. Still a solid record of 15-8 overall. They fall to 3-5 in conference play. Judson will be back at it, trying to rebound in their next match on Saturday. They take on Robert Morris at home. As for the Saints, it's going to be a while before we see them again. Their next 7 scheduled matches are all on the road. 3 of them conference tilts, and 4 of them the Michigan Dearborn Early Bird Classic. The next 2 will be conference matchups, and then the 4 after that down in Florida rather than at Michigan Dearborn. It's going to be 4 matches at Florida College, so it'll be interesting to see how they fare in that setup next weekend, not this coming weekend, but the weekend of October 14th and 15th. And now that I say it, I realize that's not even the weekend. That's going to be a midweek string of games down in Florida for St. Francis. But first up, they've got Trinity Christian, and that's going to be a fun one this Saturday. Trinity Christian undefeated in conference, but they'll take on the number 2 team in the conference so far this year, and that is the Fighting Saints. This Saturday, a 7 o'clock start time at Trinity Christian. The next home match for the Fighting Saints is not until October 22nd. That's a Tuesday night against Robert Morris. We'll have the broadcast for you here in the USF Sports Network. But that's going to do it for today's match. Saints win it in 5. They are now 7-2 in conference play. Until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Good night, all.